Hello guys and girls, so in today's exciting tutorial in JavaFX, we're going to be working on a simple student information system that takes in student information, activities, like you can select basketball, student council, volunteer work, and student major computer science, and you can select just like a few subjects like this, and I'll just say Python. So this tutorial will help us learn more about strings, because my last tutorial was strings and string builders, if and else statements, and also make us understand more on JavaFX and other important stuff as well as we code. So the value it displays the user information. It's not going to be saving anything in the database, just normal strings and all the cool stuff, right? So this is the thing. So if it doesn't have any address, it says no value. If you do not put anything, so if I just say let me put my address 123 Canada Street like this, and I will display. So if you display it now, you see our address has a value. So all those cool stuffs we are going to do. So if you haven't come across my video before, don't forget to subscribe, because I post new programming tutorials every week, and I know it would be helpful for most people, because I try to break down things as easy and beginner friendly as possible. Okay, let's get started. So you firstly we are going to launch our Eclipse, so you can find your setting up your Eclipse and other tutorials and other stuff. So firstly we are going to launch our Eclipse. So in this video we are just going to be diving straight in on what we are doing. So you can see I changed my workspace name to ChatGPT JavaFX Tutorials. I think in my other video it was like computer app, because I was not planning to like dive right in, but I just said I should just focus on JavaFX videos. Okay, so that's just it. So you can name your workspace anything. I'm just like keeping my files organized so I know what to do. So you launch your workspace initially, and if you haven't checked out my first video, try to check it out so you can configure your workspace to working with JavaFX, right? So yeah, let's get started. It's yeah, it takes time. It's done. So I'll just expand this window a little bit. So you can see I don't mind the practice effects, or just using it to practice something. So you can see our first simple calculator that we built in my first video after setting up our workspace. So this workspace is already configured. No need to set it up again. But I have a note that I put everything I'll be needing for this video that we're going to be working with in this video, and I'll be putting it in the description of this video, right? So that's it. So the steps for now, every of my video I'm going to be putting a step of creating new projects, but make sure you watch my first video to see how I'll do the workspace, how to configure your workspace, and I'm putting the link also in my description. So firstly we're going to go to file, new, and none of this. You click on order, or you say Control N. So I'll try to be quick as possible so we meet what we are trying to do. Okay, so you click on JavaFX, click on next. Project name, I'll just call it student information, and I'm using camel casing. Yeah, so you can just name it anyway, but I just like using camel casing for my naming conventions. So you click on next. It's not necessary to click on next, but just finish. You can finish right away. So it's building, right? Okay, it takes time. Okay, so it now says open the Java perspective. So don't check this, don't say anything, just say no, we don't need this. So you can see our file here. So initially, if you open yours, you have an error. The reason I'm not getting an error is because I've been trying this since, and I think I practiced on this student information. So it just remembered my project's name and just added my necessary stuff to it, right? But if not, the procedures we are going to follow, I'll just double click my main.java. If not, if you build yours, it will give you an error initially. So I will show you the notes, because I don't know, I'm going to go through it. So after you build like a new project, after creating a new project in the workspace, you right click on the project, click on build parts, configure build parts, and add your libraries. So let me show you what I mean. So I've already added mine. So if you go to student information, I'll right click on it, you'll see build parts, right, and configure build parts. So in our libraries, you see our class path. Initially, it will show that yours is empty. So you don't see add library, user library, and you add our folder that we did earlier, that we created earlier for all our external libraries, right? So you apply and close. So mine is already configured, so there is no need. So the next thing we're going to do, if I run this program, if I run this main.java right now, I would get an error. It says we are missing some components in our JavaFX. So I also put the step here, but I will not be referencing the step every time in this video. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to put the steps in case, yeah, like nerds that like reading or something. And so that's it. So I will just build run here, and you see run configurations. You click on run configurations, and firstly you go to arguments. So these arguments, we need a VM argument for it to remove this error. So that's the components we need. So what we're going to do is I'll go back to my notes. So these in you can find it in JavaFX. There's glue on, I don't know the pronunciation for that. You can find this link there. So but I just like putting it at hand because I don't want to be going there every single time. So I just paste it. So this is the module part. So you can change this with how you store your library. You can check out my first video to understand why it's like this as well. So that's just it. So you change it where you put all the libraries, external jars that you downloaded from JavaFX website. So you apply, and then you run. Make sure you apply, then you run. So you see another error occurred. So I'll not go back to my notes here. I'll just do it right away. So the next one is you go back to run configurations again. So if you go to run configurations, you go to dependencies. You see there's a JavaFX library here. So you click on it. It depends on how you named yours. Mine is like the folder for all my JavaFX projects. So you just remove it, right? I would remove. Then go to your module path entries, advanced, add library, okay, user library, JavaFX library, and click on finish and apply, and then run the program. Okay, so it takes time. Then you see this small little guy you can play around with, right? You see you can just do anything with it, right? So I would just cancel this. To make it more cool, I'll just add one extra thing. It's not necessary, but just add it. So I'll say primary stage. Since we're working with a stage would be, I'll say dot set title, right? Dot set title, and I'll name the title of the stage students information system, right? So just so to make it like more cool. So if I save it and I run again, you see that I've set the title. So our heading will be good, student information system. So you cancel it. So now we're going to build our application with SceneBuilder. So what we need to run with SceneBuilder, you go to your packages. It's also in my notes, so you don't need to worry about the step. So right click, you say new files, new file. I would say new file. So in our application, which file do you want to create? So I'll just call it, how will I say this thing? Students information, still with camel casing for me, .fxml. So finish, and you see it right there, right? Student information .fxml. So if you run your program, open with SceneBuilder, if you right click on the fxml project and say open with SceneBuilder, it would, if it shows you an error, for me it will run because I've already configured my workspace. So if it shows you an error, all you need to do is you go to Windows preferences, and then JavaFX, then you see SceneBuilder executable, this and the path for the SceneBuilder, right? So I already have mine configured. So if I right click on my fxml and say open with SceneBuilder, and then it takes time, and Oh yeah, so then that's it. So you can see student information dot fxml, right? So that's it. So now let's get started with building, just dragging and dropping stuffs quickly, right? So firstly, I'm going to use an anchor pane, so this video won't take long. So I'll say anchor pane, so we can also be dragging and dropping random objects on it. For yeah, we won't be working on responsiveness or any other thing. Just this. So I'll just create anchor pane like this, an anchor pane. I'll just expand it so it would be like a little bit wide. I won't design it how like much. I'll just make sure I do like a few design on it, but I won't put like everything in this video in designing it. I'll just focus on the functionality. Okay, so I'll just increase it a little bit because our student information would take a lot. So, and firstly, what do we need? Firstly, we need a label for the header. So I'll just call label like this. So I'll drag and drop this label, drag and drop it for the header. So I won't make it beautiful, so you can just do anything you like. I'm focusing more on the functionality. So I'll just increase this and I'll change this to like students information system like this. Okay, so I would change the font. I like using Georgia font, so I'll change it to like Georgia fonts, and then the size I'll make it a little bit bold. I'll call it like I'll make it 18. I think 18 is good. Then I'll increase this length so it can show the full thing and it won't elapse into each other, right? So I'll now move this a little bit like yeah. So you can just do it anyhow you want. Me, I'm just designing it how I like, right? So for our color, our red color, I'll go to my notes and I'll copy our red color, our dark red color, and go back. Then for our text field, text color to say, I'll just say, and I'll click on it and click on enter. So now these are our dark red color that we are working with, right? So and like normally I used to make it bold or something, but let's just keep it for now. Then the next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be accepting the first name, address, province, city, phone number, and all those stuff, right? So then I'll go for label again, another label. I'll just drag it and drop it right here. And I'll just configure the first one and I'll call it first name, and I'll do like this, and I will just all you need to do is just to get an item to configure, right? And I'll increase this one a little bit, just configure an item. I would reduce it and I'll just style this one. We keep it as black. I'll change my font to Georgia, and then my font size would be 14. And okay, so I think it's good like this. And what else should we use? I think we'll keep it this way so we don't take time. And yeah, so that's it. So after configuring this one, I'll just keep it one side this way and I'll copy it and copy paste right under it. I'll drag. We need like 7 labels now for the student information. So I'll copy again, paste right under it. I'll drag, drop. So you can do anything, but I'll try to be quick. I'll not make it that organized just to send the point across. So I'll copy, paste, and okay, so I'll copy paste again, so I have like 1 2 3. Yeah, I'll just move this like this, hold on, like this. So 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, I'll just pause the video and copy and paste all the labels. So and so that's it. So I'm done with copying and pasting it. So we just edit the name. So the first name would be address. So I'll just change this to like address. And the second one would be province, right? The third one would be city. The fifth, I think fifth one would be phone number, right? Phone number. And this one would be postal code. And this one would be email So let us take it like this. So the next thing we need, the next field we need would be, and we need a text field, so the user can enter their text. So I'll just say text field, and I'll try to make this quick. So you put the text field for all the labels, right? Okay, so you put the text field for all the labels, so I'm done with it. So just do anything. So you can enter like a prompt, like you can make it beautiful, like if you go to everything, you can just say prompt text. You can prompt the user to enter their name, all those cool stuff, but I'll not focus on the design in this video. So the next thing we're going to do is, let me just add like a text area, or let me add a display button first, so make it quick. So I'll search for button, and I'll drag and I will drop the button, and I'll keep the button. Yeah, I think here would be good. So I'll expand the button a little bit this side, so it will match, and I'll just make it up a little bit, like, I don't know, let me leave it like this. Then I'll make the text Georgia, and the font size, I'll just make it 14. I think that would be nice. Then next thing, I'll color the button our color, and I'll go back to my notes, and let me see, I'll copy our color and put it back in the button. So I'll color the button, no, not the text. I'll see background color. So you go to your style, you just see FX background color tab, and I'll paste our color, enter. So that's our background color. So for the text field, I'll make it white. I'll make it white. So white would be Control A, hash, no, hash 1 2 3 4 5 6, enter. So we have button. So what we are going to write in the text of the button would be display, so to display the student information. Good. Okay, so the next thing we need would be a text. We need a text area, so it would contain everything, not a text field for displaying the user's information, the student's information. So I'll call it text field, and I'll make it big, and I'll just increase it, like I would drag it like this, then drag this one as well. You see, the thing is just fun, those drag and drop stuff, right? So we'll drag this one as well. Okay, yeah. So this is what we're going to do. So I'll just add a prompt text, a little bit of prompt text, and the output displayed here, right? And I'll put dot dot dots, like, okay, so it shows output displayed here. So the next thing we need is activities. What the student does, is he basketball, volleyball, or anything, students cancel all those cool stuff, right? So the first thing we need a label. So I will just call another label, or let me just copy this label so you don't have to like configure any other thing, and I'll paste it, and then I'll carry the label to, I'll just drop it this side. I don't care if it's organized. Again, just need to make the video quick, right? Activities, so I'll just call it activities, and I would go back to our notes and I'll copy our green color. I think we need it now, so I'll copy our green color, and I will go to the text field and I'll paste our green color there, so it's green. So I'll increase the font. The font would be, I'll just type it manually. I'll make it 16. 16. What's this? Oh, I made it 116. I said 16. Okay, yeah, 16. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is, so I've gotten the activities. So the next one we're going to do is students major. So I'll just copy these activities and I'll paste it, and I'll just drop something, like I'll just make it here, and I'll call it students major, like this, students major. Now click on enter. Now just expand it, right, like this, and I'll copy it and I'll paste it again, and I'll just go right under it, and I'll call it select subject. So the students can select subjects, like this, enter. So for the activities, we need a checkbox, so you can check the activities you do, right? So I'll just search here and search in our libraries, and I'll search for checkbox, and this is the checkbox. So I'll just drag it, and under activities I drop it. I will expand it. So I'll just tell you guys all we need to do, so I'll speed the thing up. So after doing the checkbox, I'll just give it font of Georgia and size of 14. This exactly. So what else? Nothing. So this is the checkbox. So we have one checkbox. Then we are going to call our button. No, not button. Radio button. So for the radio button, I'll just drag it and drop, so we can say if we are like computer major or business analyst, all those cool stuff, right? So I'll just do the same configuration as well. I'll say Georgia, and I'll make the text size 14. So now we have our checkbox, we have our radio buttons, and the next one we are going to call it combo box. Combo box. So this one is like it's like a drop down menu list or something. You see what I mean? So I'll just drag it and drop it here. So it is like a drop down. You can select your calls and all those stuff. So I'll just keep it there. It won't be working because this is just like a building scene builder stuff. So this is what we need. So I'll just pause the video and configure everything, then we'll continue. So this checkbox, radio button, and combo box. Okay, so it's done. So this other thing we need for this interface design, now we have to add functionality, right? So let's check if it's working. So you click Ctrl S and you save it, right? And then I'll go back to my Eclipse, then my main.java. So this, it won't run yet because we don't know what we are running. We are not running a border pane. So I'll just delete this guy right here, and we don't need it. It will give like an error. So we go to our notes. So I have something. So we are going to go to our parent roots. I can type it manually, but I'll just copy it. So copy it and paste it. So you see fxml loader, and this for our calculator. So I'll just change it to students information .fxml, student information .fxml, right? So I'll save it, and let me import this. Let me import this thing. Yeah, so you import the fxml loader, the first one in the scene. If you hover around it to show you, yeah, quick fixes, the import, make sure it has like scene on it, and the first thing, the suggestion they show you. So it's good and it's running now. So if we run this program, let me go to my fxml. So wait, I'll have to save it, right? So I'll go to back to my scene builder, and I'll click Ctrl S. So it says change is saved. So now if we go back to our student info.fxml, I will see this, all the things we have built. So we no code anything, we didn't like write anything. It's already done it for us with SceneBuilder. So as we are adding components, it's adding it like a code, right? So if we run the application, we'll see something. So it's covered the stuff, right? Covered the stuff, but we can expand it. But the best way to go up to approach it would be, I'll just close the console. Just ignore the warning. It's telling me I need to update my application or something. So you just remove the root. So you just make sure it shows everything. So I'll remove the 400 and 400, and I'll save, and I'll run it again. And now that's it. So it shows our whole student information system, right? But now it's not doing anything. We can even like add an input to our display where we're going to show the information. So for now it's not doing anything. We'd have to add like functionality, and that's where controllers come in. So only what you need when building an fxml, most of the times you just need your main java, your fxml document, and your controller class to control, to build the full functionality. So if I go to my applications, I'll right click on it, and I'll say new class. Like if you're creating a Java class, right? New class. So I'm going to name it student information controller, like this. and I'll say finish. Yeah, I don't need to set up anything, right? Finish. So now we have a controller. You can see how it is just like an empty controller, right? But don't worry, we are going to write much code, but SceneBuilder will help us write the code ourselves. All we need to do now, go back to SceneBuilder. Remember the trick. If we go back to SceneBuilder and we need to connect. Okay, before going back to SceneBuilder, we need to connect our controller to our fxml. So our fxml will know what it's trying to do, the controller that is going to be working with. So I'll go to my notes, and you see our fxml controller. So you copy this fxml dot controller, and I'll put it in front right here. So I'll give space and I'll put it here. So I don't have anything in my controller. What I have is, so I'll just put this as student information controller. So student information controller, this controller right here, so it's making the fxml document know, okay, I'm going to be working with this controller. So I'll save it and I'll go to my student information controller. It's still empty, right? So you go to your scene builder. Firstly, you know what we're going to do. If you have seen my first video, you have an idea of what we're going to do next. So if we go to the first input box, all we need to do, we'll close this. So you see something like properties, layout, and code. So you go to the code section. All you need to do is give everything, all the places are going to be receiving the user's input and ID. So if you give them like an ID, just like an identification number, so you can extract the user's input from it using the ID, right? So but if it's an action, you add an action, like if it's going to be selected or clicked, or all those things, buttons checked, if radio button is selected, all those things. So we are going to configure it, and don't worry, it won't be like a difficult thing to do. So the first thing I'm going to do, just name it what you want to name it, right? So the first thing I'm going to call this would be the first one would be student first name. So my fx ID, the text field would be student. I'll just make it so it will be descriptive. Student first name. So this is the name of my ID, student first name. You click on enter, it saves. Don't mind this. Just ignore this warning they're saying. It's because I don't know. Just ignore the warning. So this next one would be student address. You click on it. You go to your province ID. I'll say student province. You click on it, right? You go to your city, and I'll say student city. You click on it. You see I'm using camel casing for my naming convention. So you go to your phone number and you say do the same thing. Don't be giving them IDs that you use to identify them, right? And you can get the user's input, the student information from the student's phone number, right? So the next one we're going to do is postal code, and I'll say student postal code, right? Then our next one I'm going to do is email. So I'll call this one student email, right? So let's just do our button. So I'll call our button, what should I call our button? So for the button, I'm going to call the button, I think I'll just call it display information button. So I'll just say display information BTN for button, display information button. Okay. And then on action, so because we need like something, so what will happen if we click on the button? So we are going to have like an on action stuff. So I'll now call it display information button underscore clicked. So that's like you can name it anyway, but I just like doing mine like this: display information button underscore clicked. So if it's clicked, what will happen? So you see our button, we gave it an ID and an action as well. So for our output display, we're going to give it like let me give it a long name. So I'll call it student information output. So this one would be student information output. So this one is for our text area, this box right here, this output displays here box, this box. So I will call it student information output as the fx ID, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we'll just click enter, right? Then we are going to go to our checkbox on our radio buttons. So if I go to my checkbox. This one we are not having like any action, we are just going to give them IDs, right? So I'll just put this as baskets ball. I'm using camel casing and I'll click enter. Basketball. So I'll go to the volleyball. For the FX ID for the volleyball, I'll say volleyball and I'll click enter, and I will go to the student console and I'll say student console, click enter. I'll go to football, same thing, football ID, and I'll say football. So you have to like give everything an ID, right? And go to volunteer work. I'll say volunteer work like this. Then swimming, just call it normal swimming, right? So it would be descriptive and you know where it's coming from. So then for the major, the major is it's a radio button, right? So for the radio button, I'll just call, we are going to give it an ID. So I'm going to call this one computer science major would be the ID major. Click enter. So we need like an action. So if why I'm adding an action to this major is that, so if you click on the computer science using the action, it will now say, okay, yeah, computer science, which subjects are you going to be taking, or if you're business, which subjects are you going to be taking. So it needs an action. So I'm going to say same thing how I did for my all my actions. So I'll copy this, Control C, and I'll paste this right here. Oh no, Control Z. I don't know, it not copy. So I'll copy this, Control C, and I'll paste it right here. Control V, underscore click. No, I'll just say underscore checked. Anything like just, underscore checked. I think this one is a good way to name it, right? So for the business analytics major, I'll just say business analyst major like this, and I'll click on it. Then for the action, I'll just copy this dude, Control C, Control V, underscore checked. Okay, so that's it. So yeah, for this one, we are just going to give it an ID, and I'll just say call it all the subjects or something like this, all subjects. So that's all we need to do in our scene builder. So we have given everything ID and given action to things that needs action. And then another thing, Control S, you save it. So now you saved it properly. You go to your view. After your view, say show sample constructor skeleton, and you see this. Okay, so you can see it's written our full application, like, but it doesn't do anything yet. So we are going to use our hand to code we're going to code the thing ourselves, the action event, what will happen on click, all those things. But it has selected everything and the inputs that it needs, right? So what you just need to do, just copy the thing. So I'll clear this one, and in our controller I'll just say Control A and I'll paste everything there, right? So this all we need for our controller. So now it's when our main code writing comes in. Firstly, I would try to make it quick, right? So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'll go down to our button, our display information on click event, this one, so to display the whole information. So the thing we're going to be doing is I would just like add firstly I'm going to get the text of all the firstly I'm going to get all the values of the students, right? So I'm going to go to I'll save it in a string. So I'll say string students first name value is equals, so I'm going to say student first name dot get text like this. So you see I skipped the checked of business analyst major and computer science major, that like if they are checked, right? So I skipped that one for now. We are going to work on it later. For now we're going to work on the display information button. Firstly, my first step is I took all the information of the students like from our scene builder. So you can see we named it student first name, student student first name, student address, student email, students, all those things, right? So now I'm taking the value and I'm storing it inside a string. So you can see the string student first name value is equal to student first name dot get text. Don't forget your semicolon. So it's what we're going to be doing for others as well. So I'll store everything in a string since we're not going to be collecting any integers or double in this since and I said in the beginning of this tutorial that we're going to be working with a string, right? So I'll now say student address value is equals student address dot get text, enter, semicolon. So that's it. So that's what we're going to be doing for all the student information. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so you'll see I collected all the value, the address value, the province value, the city value, just you say the dot get text. So you get the text for all the values entered by the user, right? So we can play around with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just write a normal string, save all the validations I need in a normal string. So if I go to my notes, it's like the last thing. So the regular expressions for the input validation. So this one is for the phone regex. I'll just briefly explain it. Let me copy it and put in the code. Then I'll briefly explain it, right? So I would just copy this. Hold on. Control C, and I would paste this right here, right? So the phone regex, it takes 3 digits at first. That's why you see D for digits, normal numbers 0 to 9. D 3 digits, then slash, then this hyphen 3 digits, then hyphen, then 4 digits, right? Then our postal code, it takes letters of the alphabet, digits, letters of the alphabet, digits, letters of the alphabet, then digits. Then for email validation, it takes anything, then at, then anything, then .com, anything like that. It must end with .com. So right. So these are our validations for the user's inputs, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to create an empty string builder, like an empty string builder. So like for the empty string builder, the empty string builder will be used to store the error messages. So if the user has like an error or he not validates the things well or giving wrong input, we can display an error message for him. So I'm going to use string builder because it's more good to, like, it's not like it's better than string, but you can, you know, append stuff to it, add more stuff to it, and change the values as well. Okay, so I have string builders, errors. I'll just call it errors. So we are going to be using this string builder to store all our error messages. So I'll just call it new string builder errors equals new string builder. You can check out my string and string builder video on Java to have more idea on how to work with string builders and the difference between string and string builders as well. So we give an empty string builder, and yeah, so you see string builder errors, so we are going to be saving it here. So firstly, we're going to check for the empty values. I will just make sure to validate every single thing in this video so you guys can see how it works, right? So I'll now say if we're going to check for these empty values. First, we check if the student's first name is empty. If student's first name value, so we are not going to be calling the variable again since we have stored like the variable, the text of the user inside this container, this string, right? So we'll also say if student dot first name value dot student first name value, I hope I named it well, dot is empty. So I'll say if the value is empty, then we are going to append to our error message. So this is our error message that I said right here, right? We're going to be appending to it. So if we have any errors, so I'll now say that is the very good advantage of string builders. So I'll say errors dot append. Yeah, exactly. So what we are going to say is, I'll say please enter your first name, right? Enter your first name. So that's it. So now I will check. So since I've checked if the first name is empty, because we're not going to be validating the first name, so we are going to just check if the first name is empty, right? So the next one we're going to be doing is I will just validate the phone number, the postal code, and the email using this regex, right? So what I'm going to, just like an easy step to take. So I'll just say if, because we're going to write lots of if and else statements. So don't make sure you don't misplace your semicolon or your curly braces so you don't get an error, right? So I'll just say if if not, so this one is like negative operator, right? So I will now say if student's phone number value dot matches phone phone regex. So if not, if the thing doesn't match the regex that we show here, so we'll add it to our error message. So I'll say errors dot append, and we're going to append please enter a valid phone number, like this, right? Okay, so that's it. So we will do it for our phone number, and I'll do it for my postal code and my email regex as well. So I've added for my phone regex, postal code regex, and my email regex as well. So you see the full validations we did. So the next one we're going to do is we have to make sure that the user selected a make sure that the user selected a computer science or a business analytics. So he needs to like check one of these boxes. Okay, let me open my SceneBuilder so I will explain it more. So if before the user submits the application, he needs to like check if he's a computer science major or a business analytics major. So let's validate that one as well. So I'll now say using an if statement. Then if I'm using the negation operator, the negative operator, so be conscious about it so you don't make mistake. If computer science major, remember our ID that we named, that's what I'm using. Computer science major dot is selected, like this. So negative, if computer science major is not selected, the not operator, negative operator, I hope you're saying it so you don't make mistake. So if the computer science major is not selected, and I will use my this one, and business analyst major dot is major dot is selected, like this. Okay, so if not computer science major is selected and business analytics major is selected, then what are we going to do? We're going to append it to our error message. So I'll now say errors dot append, and I'm going to append something like please enter a subject, right? And I'm going to give a new line. Please give a new line so it looks organized. So that's it. So for our validations, I think yeah, I think that's it. So we're going to say for now, let's now show the validations, right? So we are going to do another if statement. So this one will be like a simple if statement. So if the errors messages dot length is greater than 0, so you can use any approach. You can say if error is not empty or anything, if negative operator error message dot is empty or anything, but it depends on, since we're working with StringBuilder, I'm going to be using dot length is greater than 0. So if error dot length is greater than 0, that means there is an error. So we're going to display the error. Where are we going to display the error? We don't have any text for displaying the error messages, so I'll just display it in our student information output display. So I'll just go and copy it here. This is our variable that was created to us by that we added the ID student information output. So I'm going to paste it here. This yeah, so we are going to set the text to this. So you see we are getting text from text field, and if we want to display something, we're going to use it as like set text. So we're going to set the text to please fix these errors, right? Please fix these errors. Then we're going to put it in a new line, and we're going to append all the error messages, and we are going to say errors dot to string, right? Errors dot to string. And lastly, if we are done, then we are going to return it, so we break out of it, so we don't do any other action afterwards. So we are going to return. So if we have an error, so display it in our display button, in our display uh, error message box. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is, and then yeah, that's it. So if we want, we can like change our postal code to uppercase. Since this one now, postal code validation is taken in any case, but we are going to skip that in this video. So you can just change it. You can say student postal code value dot to uppercase and store it in a new string. So if the user enters even in lowercase, it has to be converted to uppercase when storing in the database or like in the information display, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to display all the student information using a new string builder, since the same way we did for our error messages, right? So what we're going to be doing is string builder student information. So we're going to call this container student information is equals new string builder. So this one is an empty string builder, right? So we're going to be storing all the information, appending all the information we have in our students in our string builder. I told you that this video it would be long, but it's pretty easy, and I'm very sure that most of you understand what we are doing, right? So the next thing we're going to do is student information dot append. So we're going to append a message. So I'm going to say students information. I'm just going to say dot. So just append them so it looks nice, right? So I'll now give like two new lines so we can like have spaces, a little bit of spaces after showing the title, right? The student information. Then we have like two new empty spaces. Then the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be appending all the values. Firstly, the first thing we're going to do is let's append students information dot append. I'll also say we're going to append the first name dot append. Then we're going to append the student's first name value. So if you're saying what's the first name value, so this value is saved from the student texts. Anything the students input, we're going to save it. We're going to say first name, since we're displaying the information, first name, then the student's name value dot append. So we are going to append another new line, right? So I'll give a string and I'll append another new line to it, so we can have like spaces, right? So we have student information that append. We append the first name. Then I'm going to use like an if and else statement as I declared in the other video. So if the address value is empty, then we display no value, but if it's not, then we append the address. So I will quickly type that one and get back to the video. All right, so that's it. So firstly, we're going to it's easy and very easy to explain. So I'll just cancel this. I think it's blocking the road. So, and the next thing we're going to do is student address value. Check if it's empty. So if the address is empty, we append address no value. Then else we just, if the address is not empty, then we use an else statement to display the address. So I don't want this video to take time, so I just added it myself. So the next thing we're going to do is then is empty, then we're going to display no value. If the province is empty, we display no value, else we display the value, right? So the next one is if the city is empty, we display no value, else we display the value, right? And the next thing we're going to append the phone number, the postal code, the email to the string builder, that the empty string builder we built earlier. I'll just give space so you guys can see it. So the empty string builder we built in the beginning and before writing the student information. So we are going to be appending it. And I'm using a new line so it looks organized. So you can see all the new line I'm using and all those things, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing is after the if else statements, we're going to check if the student's major is if the student choose like either computer science or business analytics major, right? So I'm going to we're going to give like, I'll give a space so it looks readable. So I'll now say students. So inside the string builder we build student information dot append. So we're going to give like a new line like this, new line, and I'll say academic. For this one, it's just like academic stuff, right? So I'll now like give another new line like this. Okay, so this I'll give my semicolon and I'll add this here. All right. So this for the academics, whether you're a computer science or a business analytics major, right? So now we're going to use an if and else statement as well. So if I would also say if computer, like our computer science major, the ID we gave the computer science major, right? If computer science major dot is selected like this. So if the user selected the computer science major, what are we going to do? We're going to append it to our student information that the user is a computer science major, right? So we're going to append it, student information dot append, and I'll just say this major computer science, right? So major is computer science, then I'll give a new line like this, and then yeah. So else, if the user did not click computer science major, then it means that he clicked the business major, right? So else we are going to append. So I'll just copy the major and put it in the else statement, and I'll change the major to business analyst, right? I'll say business analyst, right? Like this. So business analyst. Okay, so we're getting somewhere with this. So for still on the academic stuff, still under academics, we're going to give, lastly, we're going to append the subject. You know, the empty, I'll go to our SceneBuilder again. Hold on for a sec. So I'll go to our SceneBuilder. So if the user click on computer science or business analytics, so if it's computer science and we open the select subject, we'll see all the subjects under computer science. If it's business analyst, we'll see all the selected subjects under it as well. So the next thing we're going to be doing is then we're going to display all the subjects as well. So we're going to say students information dot append subject, right? So then I will now append it to dot append all subjects. So I'm going to put the all subjects. Remember the ID we gave to our all subjects drop down list, right? So we're going to append it to our all subjects drop down list. So we're going to get the value. So you don't forget to get the value. I'll say dot get value like this. So I'll just delete this. So we got the value, and then we're going to just append a new line. So I'll just append a new line, right? So that's it for activity. Sorry, like for academic. Now the next one we're going to go for is activities. So this one I'll make it quick. So for activities, okay, so for our activities, I just appended my new activities. I think I should just add a new line here, right? So added my new activities. So what it simply does is, I don't want to like take my time to type all this thing, is long, but it's just like I want to quickly finish the video. So we appended, if basketball is selected, so if the user selected basketball, we append basketball. If you select this one, we append it to our student information, and so on, other things. Then if the user doesn't select any of these, so I use the negative operator, not basketball is selected and all those things, you say no activity is selected, right? So lastly, so that's how we displayed all the information using like just basic if and else statements. Trust me, it's a very easy, simple code, right? So lastly, the next thing we're going to do at last would be to then in our final ID, our text area where we're displaying it, this text area, student information output. So I'll just copy it, the ID we gave it, and I'm going to set the text to our final string information. So I'm going to say dot set text, right? So what are we going to set as the text? We are going to go to this our scene builder, this student information we created in our scene builder, right? to store all the information. So we now set the text area that we created, and we are going to display the information like this. So I'll now say dot to string. So we're going to change everything to string, right? So we're going to set all the information that we have collected from the user and put it in the set text, right? So that's it for our display information button clicked. So if the user click on it, so these are the things that we do. So it's a long line of code, but trust me, it's like easy to understand and also write, right? So the next one we're going to do, this one won't take time. It won't take time, I think just a few minutes right now. So business analysis major dot checked underscore checked. So the action, what will happen if the user check the check if his major is business analytics or computer major. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the all subject. So where is the all subject? This combo box. I'll just change this question mark to string so we can store string in it, right? So change this combo box question mark to string because we're going to be storing subjects in it. So we're going to copy this all subjects, right? All subjects, and then for our business major, so if they check our business major, so we have to like get the item and add majors to it, right? So for our business major, I will say, so that all subject I copied, I'll paste it dot get item. So you say you call get items dot clear. Firstly, we're going to clear everything in it, right? So I'll just enter. So we are going to clear anything that is existing firstly, then we're going to run or so I'm going to paste the all subjects dot get items again dot get items, right? So this one now, the that I'm going to use, you can use this get items. It has like lots of methods to add, right? So I'll now say dot add all, just like a list, dot add all. So what are we going to add? Like a list, so it accepts a list, right? Because you can see that the combo box is just like, you can see it's more like a list, the combo box, right? So you say get all and add all. So all the whole subjects you need to add, you can make it long. So I'll just make mine like process management, comma, the next one would be supply chain, comma, and the next one would be resource planning, right? For business, resource planning, resource planning. Okay, so I would, yeah, okay, so that's it. uh okay, yeah, so okay, then added the same thing for computer science major, right? So the same way we did for business analytics major. So if there's anything initially in the list, we clear the list, then add new things. If anything is initially there, then we clear the list and add new things, right? So so that's it. So that's basically what we have to write in the code today, and so let's test it out. Let's test it out. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I don't get an error. So I'll save so we can test it out. So you can see, yeah, display information. Yeah, good to go. Okay, so it's good to go. So let's test it out. Okay. Oh, but before we run, I just want to make something so it looks like it looks more cool. So where's our error message? I want to change the colors to red. And where is it? I would fix this error. Please fix this error. So I'll change the student information output dot set style. I think it's style dot set. Let me do it again. I need the suggestion dot set style, exactly. So which style are we going to use? I'll say fx text, no, fill would be text fill. Let me copy our color, right? Our red color. So I'll copy our red color, this one, Control C, and open this. and fill it there and give my semicolon as well. So we are going to change the style. If there is error, we are going to change the input to red. I think we should also do the same thing for our student information. Like, let's set the style to green. I think it would be good. So I'll go back to my student information and I'm going to set the style to be, I'll go to my notes, I'll copy our green, dark green, this one, and boom. So I'm just going to replace the red style with green, so it's like look more fun, right? So I'll just save it, and then time to run our program. Hope it runs well. And then I run. Hope there's no error. Don't mind the warning. They need me to upgrade. So, and let's just display. Let's not like set anything. Let's just display so you can see all the error messages. So what's the issue? Oh, it's not working yet. Oh, let me just cancel it. So what's the issue? I'll delete this. Let me make sure I save everything. Yes, right. I'll save this one again. I would student information controller. Application. Yeah, it's good. I don't know why it's not running. So I'll save this one. Let me go to my student information and student information controller. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's great. It's supposed to run. So if I click on this run again and click on display, exactly. So now you can see the red error messages. It says, please fix this error. Please enter your first name. Please enter a valid phone number. Please enter a valid. So you can put it anywhere. You can like display an error in your text field if it's not like, if it's, you know, just anywhere you want, or you can create a different text field to display your errors, but I'm displaying everything in my output display, right? So if I click on, let me just say Charles Liberty, and I click on display, so the first name error is gone because I fulfilled it. Then the next one we're going to do, I'll leave address and other things empty. Phone number, I'll do 12345678890, and I would, let me say I missed the 0 and I display the phone number error is still there. It means that please enter a valid phone number, right? So if I put the 0 and display, please enter, then the error is gone. So the same thing as postal code, so it just validates everything, right? So I'll do LR. How do we do postal code again? I'll just L5T3V7 display, so the postal code is gone. So email, I'll just say chucky@gmail.com, right? And I'll display, so that one is done. So now they say enter a subject, right? You don't need to enter any activities. It's not necessary because some people don't do any activities, right? So if I choose computer science major, so you can see in a drop down we have all the things we need, right? So in my computer science major, I will say I'm doing Python. I like Python, so click on it, you see all the information displayed, right? So you see I changed it a little bit from what I showed in the first video. So you can just play around with it, do your thing. Now you can see address and other things has no value, no value, no value, no value. So if I add like address 25 Canada Street, right? And I play display again, now address has a value, province no value, city no value, and all those things. So the next thing we're going to be doing probably would be to like save to a database or something, but it would be in a further tutorial. So you can just play around with it. You can see activities, no activities selected, right? You can click on basketball display. Now for our activities we have basketball, so on. You can just do anything, play around, have fun. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in my